What if the one thing you think is keeping your dog safe is actually slowly breaking them? Not just physically, but emotionally? Most indoor dog owners make this mistake every single day, with the best intentions in the world. And the saddest part? Your dog has been trying to tell you something's wrong, and you just didn't know the language. This video isn't a lecture, it's a translation. By the end, you're going to understand your indoor dog in a way most owners never do. Why they act out, why they seem restless or anxious, and what they actually need from you to truly thrive. We're going to walk through 7 things your indoor dog is experiencing right now, and we'll save the most powerful one for last. That final one? It might completely change the way you look at your dog the next time you walk through your front door. Most people think a warm home, a full bowl, and a soft couch is everything a dog could ever need. And honestly, that makes sense. If you were a dog, wouldn't that sound like paradise? But here's what's really happening beneath all that comfort. Dogs evolved over tens of thousands of years alongside humans. Not inside human spaces, but alongside them. They were working animals before they were companion animals. They ran, they tracked, they problem-solved, they contributed. Their nervous systems were literally wired for movement, challenge, and purpose. When you strip all of that away, even lovingly, you leave a brain that has nowhere to put all that energy. Veterinary behaviorist Dr. Karen Overall has written extensively about how understimulated dogs develop what she calls chronic low-grade stress. It is a kind of invisible anxiety that builds over time. It doesn't always look dramatic. It looks like excessive sleeping or subtle restlessness. A dog that seems fine but never quite seems joyful. Your dog isn't ungrateful for the comfort you've given them. They're quietly waiting for you to give them something to do because in their heart, being useful to you is how they say I love you. We often assume a bored dog is a destructive dog, chewing shoes or knocking over trash. But the quiet version of boredom is far more common and far more damaging. You might notice them staring at walls or licking their paws until the fur thins out. Behaviorists call these stereotypies repetitive behaviors that develop when an environment fails to meet psychological needs. Research shows that without enrichment, dogs have higher stress hormones. The house itself becomes the stressor. The beautiful flip side? Even small amounts of novelty can significantly reduce stress within hours. Your dog doesn't need a perfect life, they need a changing life. Every time you introduce something new, you're telling them, I see you, and you matter to me. This one surprises people. You might have assumed that as long as your dog is indoors and comfortable, their biology is being taken care of. But dogs, like humans, are deeply photoperiodic creatures, meaning their biology runs on light. Natural sunlight regulates melatonin and serotonin production in dogs just as it does in us. It synchronizes their circadian rhythm, supports their immune function, and even affects their mood stability over time. A dog that spends most of its day in artificial light, away from windows, away from the shifting quality of natural daylight, gradually falls out of sync with its own biological clock. You might notice this as seasonal mood dips, irregular sleep, or a dog that seems inexplicably off without any clear medical cause. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. A sunny window they can access, a daily walk timed in the morning light, or even just moving their favorite resting spot closer to natural light. These small changes tap into millions of years of biological programming. Your dog doesn't just want to look out the window because they're curious about squirrels. They're reaching towards something their body genuinely needs, and when you give it to them, you're meeting a need that goes all the way back to their ancestors sleeping under open skies. Indoor dogs often face hidden stressors that owners overlook, from a lack of mental stimulation to physical discomfort in their environment. Simple mistakes in their daily routine, like slippery floors or ignoring subtle cues, can lead to real signs of emotional distress. If this is already changing how you think about your dog, you're exactly who this channel is made for. Hit the like button and subscribe. We put out videos like this every week to help you understand your pet better. The next one goes even deeper into what your dog is actually feeling when you leave the house. Here's what most people get wrong about dogs and alone time. They assume dogs are adaptable enough that being alone for 8 hours is just fine. Dogs sleep a lot anyway, right? They're probably just napping. But the domestic dog's brain is not a lone predator's brain. Wolves, their closest evolutionary relatives, operate in tight family units where isolation is genuinely dangerous. It means injury, starvation, or death. Your dog carries that ancient wiring. To their nervous system, prolonged alone time doesn't just feel lonely. At a primal level, it registers as a threat. Research shows that dogs left alone for extended periods showed elevated heart rates and stress behaviors not just during isolation, but for hours after returning. The anxiety didn't stop when you walked through the door. It lingered. This doesn't mean you failed your dog by having a job. It means your dog experiences your return as something genuinely profound, a relief. That wild, spinning joy when you come home, that's not just excitement, that's relief. That's love expressed through every cell of their body. They are not being dramatic. They are being completely, honestly themselves. Dogs were bred, in many cases, over hundreds of years for specific purposes: herding, retrieving, tracking, guarding. And while we've welcomed them into our living rooms and asked them to set all of that aside, the instincts didn't disappear. They went underground. A border collie with nothing to herd will start herding children, shadows, or your other pets. A beagle with no trail to follow will pace and vocalize obsessively. A retriever with nothing to fetch may develop an obsession with carrying objects. We often read these behaviors as problems, but from an evolutionary standpoint, these dogs aren't malfunctioning, they're working, they're trying to be who they are. The most heartbreaking version of this is what some veterinary researchers call learned helplessness. A state where a dog has tried so many times to express their instincts and been redirected or ignored that they eventually stop trying. They become passive, flat, easy to live with in the worst way. Owners sometimes describe these dogs as finally calming down. What actually happened is the dog gave up. You can reverse this: a sniff-based game, a puzzle feeder. A job as simple as find the hidden treat. When you give your dog a task that honors what they were bred to do, you're not just entertaining them. You're telling them, I know who you are, and I love that dog. Let's talk about the title for a moment, because dying is a strong word, and it deserves a straight answer. Long-term psychological stress in dogs creates measurable physical damage. Elevated cortisol over time suppresses immune function and accelerates cellular aging. It increases inflammation and has been linked to earlier onset of conditions like arthritis, cognitive dysfunction syndrome, and digestive disease. A 2021 study of over 13,000 dogs found that fearfulness and chronic stress were among the strongest predictors of shortened lifespan, independent of breed or diet. This is not a metaphor. A dog living in a state of chronic, unaddressed psychological stress is, in a very real biological sense, aging faster than they should be. But the same research contains something hopeful. Dogs in enriched, socially active environments with engaged owners didn't just feel better, they lived measurably longer, healthier lives. Your attention is not a luxury for your dog. It is medicine. Every walk you take, every game you play, every morning you sit on the floor and let them climb into your lap for 5 quiet minutes. These are not small things. They are, quite literally, life-extending acts of love. We promised you one last thing, the one that reframes everything. Here it is. When your indoor dog follows you from room to room, when they press their body against your leg while you're cooking, when they lay their head across your feet while you're working, when they refuse to settle until they can see your face, most people interpret this as neediness, dependency, a dog that can't cope. But animal behaviorists have a different name for it. It's called proximity seeking, and it is one of the most evolutionarily ancient bonding behaviors that exists. It's the same neurological mechanism that drives wolf pups to stay close to their pack leaders. The same instinct that drives human infants to seek their mother's face. Here's what the science found. In 2015, a landmark study discovered that when dogs and their owners made eye contact, both experienced a measurable rise in oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the same one released between mothers and newborns. The dog wasn't just near you. They were chemically bonding with you every single time. Your dog follows you around the house not because they're anxious, not because they're poorly trained. They follow you because, to them, you are the center of the world. You are the pack. You are safety, joy, and meaning, all wrapped into one person who somehow chose them. When they press against you, they're not asking for something you haven't given. They're giving you something, a living, breathing signal that says, you are my person. Of all the places I could be right now, I choose to be where you are. That's not neediness. That's devotion. Ancient, instinctual, and completely, irreversibly yours. Your dog is not just living in your house. They are living for you in ways that go deeper than breed or training. The mistake was never loving them too much. It was not knowing how to hear them back. Now you do.